Welcome to the Miami edition of the Rowdy.com Big Three. We're headed to Homestead Racetrack. This is JJ Yeley. I'm Buck Fever. Last race of the season. We got three burning issues. What are they, Bassmasters?
Well, I'm off camera asking the question today, and I think JJ and Buck, this has to be about the championship first, and maybe the race second. But let's talk about the racetrack and what it takes to run well there. JJ, you've run there on this new configuration. Pretty fast downforce racetrack. Reminds you of any other places, Chicagoland, some other places like that, or is it a unique animal?
It is an absolute unique animal now. Obviously when the racetrack used to be flat, it was more like a Phoenix type of racetrack, but now with the multi-groove, multi-banking, it's a racetrack that's very, very wide. You can run on the fence, you can run the middle, you can run the bottom. You'll see a lot of guys using a lot of very distinct, different grooves. Usually Mark Martin's on the bottom. Denny Hamlin runs pretty low. Obviously you're going to see some of the guys that are always on top running against the fence. So, racing is good because you got a lot of different versions to make of it.
What is it about certain guys that like to run high or low? I mean, why does Juan Pablo always seem to be running high? He just likes it?
He just likes it. I don't know. Maybe it's just more comfortable. When you run the higher groove, you spend a lot more time on the throttle. Maybe he's just a gasser, wants to really throttle down. I think I'm going to say older school. I don't want to categorize people, but you're going to see Mark Martin making the bottom work. When he's in practice, he spends as much time as he can making his car work on the bottom. That's just how he is. Denny, he's run very well at Homestead, always has. He's going to be middle bottom. Obviously you're going to go wherever your car's going to be fast, but it's one of those places that you really have a lot of options, and you really don't have that in a lot of racetracks you go to anymore.
All right, now next question. I believe team orders. What's going on here?
Well, I had this question, guys, because I think about the closeness of this championship battle, and I think to myself, if Jeff Gordon were leading, and Jimmy Johnson were second, and Denny Hamlin were third, well, if Jeff Gordon let Jimmy Johnson win the race, Jimmy Johnson would also win the championship. Is that the kind of thing that is even conceivable? I know you drivers will let the teammate by to get 5 points for leading the lap because he's going to let you back by. Giving up a win, that seems like a bridge too far for the most part in NASCAR. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously the advantage is going to go to the Hendrick team because they have more cars at the racetrack, and that includes affiliation. If it's Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, you have Bobby Labonte in the Finch car. These are all cars that get equipment from Hendrick. Does it happen? Probably not. Obviously winning as many championships as the 48 has won, or even with Jeff Gordon, just period. I can't see it happen. I don't think. At the end of the day, obviously they want to win a championship. Do they want the bad press that would come with doing it?
The uproar would be just outrageous.
I think it would be worse. It would absolutely be worse to do.
It would tarnish NASCAR.
But Buck Fever, didn't you say just earlier this week that you thought it would happen?
It's a tough issue. If you've got Jimmy Johnson behind you and he's going for 5 championships in a row, and you're Jeff Gordon and you own that car, and you got Rick Hendrick on the line. I'm not a race car driver, so I'm going to defer to him saying no. But
so Buck Fever's changed his mind.
It's a tough question, though. It really is. I've never seen anyone do it, though.
Next issue.
Not for a win.
Not for a win.
Not for a win or a championship.
And Jeff Burton has gone on record as saying he would not give up a win, period. Now, Kevin Harvick is the third man in this race. A bit of an afterthought just because he's 46 points behind, but still very much in it if these two guys either have a bad day or somehow wreck or whatever. Kevin Harvick seems like a guy with absolutely zero downside going into this race. Worst he's going to be is where he is right now, third. What's the mindset there? Are you willing to take some big risks? And if you are, JJ, what does that mean, taking a big risk? Is it in your setup? Is it what you're doing with a race car? What would that look like?
Well, if you look back into some of the past Homestead races, it has come down to fuel mileage. It's a racetrack. You don't see a lot of cautions. There's a lot of strategy can be played out. Like you said, he's got nothing to lose. And I think people really haven't given the 29 team of Kevin Harvick all the credit they deserve. They led most of the year in the points. They had a huge point lead going into when the chase started. And if it was the old style system, it's a pretty unsurmountable amount of points that he led by.
Yeah, far more points than anybody else.
Certainly. So, they had a couple rough races. They instantly got kicked out. They really never got the credit they deserve. So, still championship contending team. Obviously, you look at the way things have been going for all three of them. They've all run, almost nose to tail every week. He's going to need help. It's that simple. But if you come down to there's a lot of cars on the lead lap, someone has to make a green flag pit stop like this past week. There was enough speed difference and enough track difference at Phoenix that, Denny coming in or the 18 car coming in with Kyle, they only lost 5-10 positions. If 30 cars are on the lead lap and it's a lot tighter bunch, you come and make a green flag stop and everyone else doesn't have to. Now instead of finishing 5th, you finish 20th, it's over with. So, obviously, like I said, the 29's got nothing to lose other than going for it.
Little Michael Vick Hail Mary.
You never know. Last question. What is the one thing each of these teams or drivers has to master to win the championship at Phoenix? Is there one factor above all else that really they have to take care of to win this thing?
Fear?
No, I don't think it's. Race car drivers don't usually have fear. It's stupidity that gets them in trouble. I think it's probably anger because you go out there and you race with a guy mid-race. Maybe if it's a guy you're faster than, you're not. It's not worth whatever the effort is that you're racing. You get upset and you go down there and you hit a guy, you knock a fender in, you get yourself in trouble. Obviously you have a lot more to lose. So you're going to have to keep your cool. That's going to be the biggest thing. The guy that's going to be able to keep his cool, not worry about any small problem because it is a long race. Anything can happen. But you go out there and you have a problem mid-race, you can't get so flustered that you take yourself out of the game.
I got to believe clean air is going to be huge at the end of this thing. Whoever gets out first on that final stop.
It usually is. I don't think tires are as big a advantage as a place like Phoenix that hasn't been paved in so long. A lot of grip at Homestead, so clean air is always good.
That's ifyou'ready.com Big 3 Florida edition. Bug Fever.
I'm JJ Yeley. I can do it myself. Thank you.
Perfect.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.